Chelsea has won against Leicester. First Chelsea 2. And I want to comment on many things because Chelsea is now the highest scoring team in the Premier. Here we have Enzo Fernández and Nicholas Jackson, who scored both goals today. By the way, they have been the two main protagonists of the victory in Leicester. Chelsea is the highest scorer in the Premier so far. It's true that Liverpool and Manchester City play later, but they are the highest scorer in the Premier, consolidating their place in the Champions Zone, and this Maresca 2009 team is starting to have solutions of all kinds, beginning to function very well, almost like clockwork. And there are some aspects, details that I want to comment on from this match. Enzo Fernández is being heavily criticized. I want to say quite a few things about Enzo Fernández, about Nicholas Jackson, about Cole Palmer's moment, Joao Felix, who has played as a starter, what Joao Felix has done, how the Maresca team is managing. For now, Chelsea is starting to meet expectations. They began the regular season and are currently in the Champions League, sitting third, I repeat, the highest scorer. We are going to analyze quite a few things, and we will also include some data from the match that I think is very interesting. Leicester has just finished, Chelsea 2, come on, let's go. Well, here we go, friends of Mundo Maldini. Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2. It's true that Leicester's goal came almost in stoppage time, a penalty by Alio, who hasn't missed any in recent times, but there wasn't even time for Leicester to attack again. It has been a fairly comfortable match for Chelsea, who came from drawing their last match against Arsenal, in a game where I think Palmer was not very noticeable, and today he hasn't appeared much for Cole Palmer either. That is to say, this team still has a quite evident margin for improvement, and I want to explain why. First of all, let's go with the 11 friends of Mundo Maldini 2009. Let's look at the lineups of both teams, because there are quite a few things to analyze. Here we have it. Here they are, the two lineups. Let's include Christensen here so he can be seen a little better. Hermansen in goal for Leicester, Justin with Fais, Okoli and Christensen. In defence, a fairly withdrawn team for Leicester City. I don't know if they want to recall that famous Leicester under Ranieri that won the league with a very defensive team, but when you have Vardy up front, he has hardly received a single ball. Elkanis on the right with McAteer, on the left with Ndidi, Sumar and Vinks, who got injured right at the start. Vinks' injury has been a problem. The former Tottenham player who played in that Champions League final, remember, with Tottenham against Liverpool. Chelsea, Robert Sanchez Fofana today is right back, and I also want to comment quite a bit on that topic. I have been liking Fofana a lot lately in Chelsea's defense. Today he has been a fullback. Otto Diaz has been a centre-back. Badiashile with Colwill as centre-backs. Colwill, the under-21 European champion, a player who excels in the air. And Marco Cucurella, who has participated a lot in the attacking plays. In the second goal, there is a play that ends in a goal by Palmer. I want to remember that it is offside due to Cucurella. Caicedo and Enzo Fernández double pivot with Palmer ahead with Madueke on the right. I have liked Madueke. He is growing a lot since that player we saw at PSV Eindhoven. Madueke is improving tremendously. While Felix on the left with Palmer inside and Nicholas Jackson, who already has 7 goals. Jackson has 7 goals. Palmer has 7 goals so far, although Palmer scored 4 in a single match in just one half, I remember. But it is true that there are very important things about the team. I don't know where we can start. Start talking. Well, Chelsea's match has been quite comfortable, but I want to start a bit with Enzo Fernández because he is a player who sometimes likes to get to the final third, leaving Caicedo alone. This double pivot of Caicedo and Enzo Fernández seems to me to be among the best in the Premier League, I sincerely say. It seems to me to be among the best in the Premier League. And I want to say one thing, and that is that there have been many criticisms of Enzo Fernández. You all know that Enzo Fernández is one of my let's say, favorite players. And it is true that I was a bit excited about him at Benfica, and I was excited about him in the Qatar World Cup, where he became a starter in midfield. I acknowledge that this is not Enzo Fernández's best season, I admit it. We also have to see the glass half full at Chelsea. And I want to say with this that Yusen is going to improve Enzo Fernández because he is going to improve. His qualities are evident. He is a player who has the ability to break out in midfield. With Argentina the other day, he played as a central midfielder and played very well, reaching the final third and scoring his first goal. He scored his first goal, assisted 2 goals, but scored his first goal of the season. It will not be the only one. It will not be the only one. I want to say with this that Enzo Fernández has a quite evident capacity for improvement because he has demonstrated it with the national team and in other seasons, and he showed it at Benfica, which I believe can make him a very important player in this new project of Chelsea under Maresca, which looks very promising, honestly, because it has players everywhere. Today, for example, Pedro Neto was not present. Today, Pedro Neto did not play, who is a player that was starting on the left wing or the right wing. He can play in various positions. The most expensive signing of the season for Chelsea, Pedro Neto. Without Pedro Neto, today the team won with quite a bit of conviction and decisiveness. The result is misleading because it was, for me, a very comfortable match for Chelsea. There is Enzo Fernández. He can score his header in a play that also involves Cucurella and Nicholas Jackson. I believe that Chelsea, without playing at a very high pace, has had an evident ease in managing the match. And it's that when you have midfielders like those Chelsea has, and considering that Lavia was not there, who has had very bad luck since he got injured when he arrived at Chelsea last season and was out all season. This year, when he is coming in, he is doing well. But the starting double pivot is obviously Enzo Fernández, with Caicedo, another great player, Caicedo, about whom I promise one day we will make a Wisecow report on what he has been like since arriving in England, because Caicedo's growth is sensational. Recently in Manchester, he played a great match against United. With the Ecuador national team, he has played very well. And at Chelsea, he continues to be a key player. And we need to talk about Palmer. I see the glass half full for Chelsea for two reasons. We are here on the ground with this blow that Palmer has taken. We have had two matches where we haven't seen the best Palmer. And far from it, we saw a rather absent Palmer against Arsenal. And today, even when he is doing well, I say that he is already playing poorly. When he is well, Palmer can give much more than what we saw today. It seems to me that Palmer right now, with the moment Phil Foden is living, is the most in-form English player in the Premier League, because the most in-form English player is Harry Kane. By the way, you have a video of Harry Kane here that I made for you this morning about yesterday's great match and what he is doing. But if we talk about English footballers in the Premier League, I believe that the most talented player right now is Cole Palmer. However, we will see. If he maintains the consistency he needs to have, which he has not been able to achieve in the last matches, by the way. That is to say, if we see that this Chelsea, which played a fairly good match today, without reaching its maximum level, has evident room for improvement. Palmer has very evident room for improvement. Enzo Fernández and Caicedo are in a good moment. I believe Jackson is playing more or less at the limit of his possibilities. Honestly, I believe that Jackson is playing at the limit of his possibilities. Guarding the centre-backs, here we have Fofana, whom we see here on the left of the image, with Beishi in the middle and with Jackson. I have liked Fofana in the last matches. I like him as a defender with ball distribution and speed to correct his position. Today he played as a fullback because I put in Bayasil, and he also did well. Today Augusto wasn't bad, who had been the starting fullback in this huge Chelsea squad, because we remember that, for example, in the conference, Chelsea changes all 11 players. The only one I don't see in good form is Robert Sanchez, by the way. I have to say it. I don't see Robert Sanchez in such good form, but I really like Fofana. And then I think, honestly, I believe this man, Nicholas Jackson, is at the limit of his possibilities. Let's talk about Joao Felix. But before talking about Joao Felix, I want you to see with the friends from Flash Score, which is always worth it because they do it almost in real time, what today's match has been. Ball possession, 64-36. Shots, 16 for May. Shots on target, 7 for Chelsea, 2 for Leicester City. I think it's very clear that the match was comfortable, or that Chelsea made it comfortable more than being comfortable, because it's not an easy field. Leicester is not even in the relegation zone. It's not an easy field. Chelsea did it well with a fairly correct and professional match in the sense that they practically made no mistake. And let's finish with Joao Felix. Well, Joao Felix hasn't been bad. He hasn't participated as much as others. Today he was given the starting position. It's evident that Pedro Neto is ahead of him. They are very different players. But if we talk about Madueke at the level he is now, practically an undisputed starter. Palmer, of course, Jackson up front in a 4-2-3-1. The double pivot is clear. The position is Pedro Neto or Joao Felix, with some possibilities for other players to come in. But Pedro Neto or Joao Felix, and right now, friends of Mundo Maldini, it's very difficult for Joao Felix to be a starter at Chelsea or to maintain a starting position at Chelsea. He hasn't been bad. He hasn't had a spectacular match by any means. He hasn't been bad, but well, he hasn't been the best in the team by any means. Yes, Chelsea wins. Chelsea convinces. Chelsea is currently the highest scoring team in the Premier League. Chelsea is in the Champions League, and we will see how far they can go. It should be noted that they are not playing in the Champions League. They are playing in the conference, and there they can practically rotate the entire team, which is what they are doing. A hug. Bye, 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 bye.